bomb sites right now as we get into the game, as BRK E-Sports is going to pick up the attack side, and Elevate GG will be on defense for our first round.
Yeah, a Jackal coming out for the pick, or at least early on in this. Yep, no, it's going to be locked in from BRK. We've seen Jackal quite a lot on Bank, for example, and a couple times on Oregon. And the reason you would bring him on Oregon is it's similar to Bank. You know, there's a roam game that must be dealt with when you're attacking the basement. But as you can see here, we have Elevate actually defending the top floor. Now, you can roam on the top floor, and we've seen it happen quite a lot, but it's not necessarily the go-to strategy. Usually you'll have someone playing super safe over by Meeting Hall, like trying to C4 underneath Master Bedroom, Master Closet, but I don't know necessarily if Jackal's going to help you hunt that guy down. The angle that you're usually challenging that roamer from is pretty simple.
I mean, yesterday when we saw some Oregon play, we also saw when the bomb site was top floor, we saw a couple roamers downstairs, and they made some impacts later on in the round after 2 minutes had gone by. 2 minutes, 15 seconds had gone by, and we're dwindling down to the final moments. Those plays either kept attackers at bay and kept them on their toes, or they went unnoticed and ended up getting clutch plays at the very end. So that Jackal could eventually lead to some great coverage, we'll say, of that.
Elevate going to the top floor and using a Frost and a Castle, so somewhat different than what we're used to on the defensive lineup for this bomb site. I liked what they were doing over by the main west window. The main west window gives a lot of control to the attackers, if they can get it open and utilize it properly. As a defender, if you're able to deny that, it's very, very useful.
Now on Jackal, we constantly refer to and talk about his weapon as the PDW being utilized. Here we're seeing, I believe it's the C7.
Well, they're both incredibly viable, excellent rifles. The PDW has 50 bullets and slightly less recoil. The C7 is, I think, a little bit more versatile in terms of just individual 1v1 engagements.
We are 2/3 of the round left to go here. Inside of the lockers, we're going to be spotting Zig droning it out. He's actually got his drone up in Armory. Moving on forward, spots that there's that rotation hole inside of the attic, which is technically, it's going to be used later on, most likely from Chapstick or someone else trying to get up into the attic as he escapes some pressure putting on from the red tower.
Yeah, we have Shuttle still in the attic and Chapstick down in Meeting Hall right now. This roam game from Elevate could prove incredibly useful. Chapstick's also ready to drop down into the Meeting Hall at any given moment, should that be what's necessary to run away.
Now his Armory's all clear. Sky's going to hold the very tight angle through the doorway. And with that 416 he's got in his hands, to be able to just mow down Nesk if he gets too exposed.
Yeah, Nesk faces a dilemma here, a bit of a crossfire between a Shuttle and the Jaeger Skies, but he's got to get past this mound.
Now he will take his breaching charge, his first of two, to get rid of that barbed wire. But again, he's going to have to run into that crossfire.
Yuke is playing a dangerous game here inside the kitchen. Chapstick could C4 through the kitchen wall at any time, but no, he rotates downstairs. And Shuttle still playing inside this attic is known to BRK.
There it is. There's the full flashbang. Now, it looks like he might try to go for it. No, Nesk actually going to get hit from behind with that crossfire. We just talked about Sky's picking up the first kill of the round here. It looks as though Closet Wall has been opened up by Zig. That's from Master Bedroom. And we still have Chapstick, I believe. No, that's not Chapstick. That is Shuttle inside of the attic. He's being pinched upon.
Chapstick's actually down in the basement right now. He could come up through the main lobby stairs and get a flank on this Master Bedroom attack.
The good thing about Chapstick staying put for the longest time here.
Ooh, right now, will he get it?
One might hear him.
Oh!
Running around.
No,
one
he
did
made it
hear him.
pass.
Finally sees him, tags him on the feet. Does a lot of damage, but not enough to finish him off. Chapstick then gets hit from behind. A double headshot there. Yuke picking up one picking up another kill, and then Yuke finally gets traded down by Shuttle. Pistol kill comes out from one. Sky's now the last man standing in a 2-on-1. Time is going down. He kills the defuse planter, and we will have the round won by Elevate.
What a clutch there by Skies, playing his role perfectly, understanding that, okay, my team's dying. I don't necessarily need to fight this and refrag. I just need to deny that diffuser. So that late flank there from a Shuttle, it actually it didn't end up working for the attack or for the defenders for Elevate. It didn't actually benefit them very much, but it distracted one to the point at which he committed fully to his push inside of the bomb site rather than trying to hunt down Skies. Skies just maneuvering properly, managed to clutch it out. It honestly looked to me like a BRK round through and through. They had the coverage waiting for that flank from main lobby. They unfortunately made a little bit of a hiccup there. They attacked attack was working perfectly moving into the master bedroom closet. The only two main problems are, again, that hiccup with the flank hold, and then also the Nesk losing early on when he was trying to challenge on shuttle inside of the attic.
Yep. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think he... I don't think it was fully droned out that there was that crossfire there. I mean, I thought I saw the drone as it jumped through the hole, turn around and spot Skies, but maybe Skies just got a little bit tucked away. And
also just kind of like as a general mistake there for BRK, way too much time on that execution. It could have very easily been a 1v1 there with 30 seconds left to go, and one could have clutched it out versus Skies. Anything's possible. But because they spent so much time executing their attack and they were so cautious, that wasn't an option. Now we do have BRK, rather than going upstairs, they're going to opt to defend the basement on their first defense round, and this is a little bit more common as what we're used to seeing on Oregon. Now, of course, the drop down not being reinforced is actually doesn't really matter too much, because if the attackers want the drop down in the main lobby open, they are going to get the drop down in the main lobby open. You can invest those reinforcements elsewhere should you feel the need.
What they do have to worry about is they see that some of the windows have been punched open inside of Red Tower, so they're very cautious right now. You can see England drawing it out for his team, but tucked around inside the small tower here, we're actually going to have Uke. And that's going to give him a very good angle on anyone that's going to try to rappel into the top of Red. You're going to watch him right here.
Yeah.
If he's able to watch that top window, he might see Shuttle try to rappel into the top. We've seen kills like this before, and it's on that swing back right as he's in the animation to get into the window is where he'll be picked off.
So this is really interesting. Normally, Uke roaming inside of Junk Tower would actually be a terrible idea, but because Elevate is attacking onto the main Red Tower, that means that they're not putting any pressure on the west side, trying to do that west side clear that we see so commonly, and he's going to be able to just walk away from it. He could have, in theory, even gotten a kill on that rappel that you were talking about.
We are going to see a Red Tower push from the back right now. Laxing picking up the first kill there onto Zig. That's going to be Pulse going on down. That was from the blue hallway into the box.
Yeah, we also have the main meeting hall wall being opened up. That means that Uke inside of the attic is going to be very pressured to stay alive.
Bomb located by attackers.
Yeah, the ability for Uke to stay up inside the attic uncontested at the moment is going to allow... Oh, okay, we are seeing the contention now here by Shuttle, who opened up the wall. But if that wall wasn't opened up, he'd have full range of the meeting hall drop hatches to make sure that the attackers weren't going to fall through.
Yeah. The rest of his defending buddies are down inside of the bomb site. They know that this is going to be a construction tunnel take.
Now Sky's going to work his way down the main corridor. Most of the walls have been opened up, allowing for his team to hop on through should they need to. There are 40 seconds left in the round, still a 5-on-4. Flashbangs are going to get tossed in by Laxing. England likely to make the first push here after Laxing drones it out for him. The final gas grenade gets tossed out, though, not exploded just yet. Want to see if that's just going to get destroyed or if it will eventually get exploded. We are going to have, though, I think that is Skies moving forward with that SMG-11. Misses his shot. No, he grabs one on this one. And a double C4 kill by Julio to take out Chapstick in England. It's now going to be a 2-on-2. Laxing and Shuttle. Laxing moving on up top. The shotgun's going to break the shield. The next shotgun from Nesk will likely take him down, except for Shuttle. Comes in for the flank and gets him on down. He's going to try to go for the plant. And it's a 2-on-1 now. Julio needs to come on back. He's coming through the main corridor to his right side. It's going to be Laxing, misses the shot, takes him on down. Now it's a 1-on-1. He's got 50 health left here for Laxing. Comes around, misses the shot, and it's going to be the shot from BRK from Julio. Coming in hard, and he's got plenty of time to get this diffuser destroyed. It's going to be a 1-1 now.
Unfortunately, there towards the end, Laxing playing way too safe inside of that corner. Not covering the hallway or hearing the Mira 3 armor, pots and pans, ladies and gentlemen, running through the hallway. That's gotta feel bad. But now, that will be the first round on the board for BRK. So far, it's been pretty good run. That was honestly a well executed attack from Elevate. It's just a better executed defense from BRK. What happened there though is we were talking about before on Oregon when we saw it yesterday. We're talking about how we see the west lobby, or not the west lobby, the west side take on the top floor defense falter so many times. And the reason that attack doesn't work so well is because you shove yourself into really just 2 lanes and it becomes a meat grinder. The defenders just need to point their guns at, well, those 2 lanes. It's very simple for them to hold that. And it's the same thing about what we just saw. A Red Tower construction tunnel attack is, well, you're shoving yourself into 2 lanes, 2 doorways. And it's very simple for the defenders to point their guns at these 2 lanes and wait patiently. There's no real room for maneuvering. The drop downs were being utilized by Elevate. They were trying to get that 3rd dimension in there, but it didn't happen. And the reason it didn't happen is because that C4 that got the double kill on the initial push forced those two attackers inside Meeting Hall to come down and supplement the push.
So we saw Laxing doing right there as Valkyrie was opening up just a little crawl-through hole in the bottom right-hand corner from Red Tower into the attic. He's making it as small as possible, but still able to get through so that if the attackers push in from main lobby, if they go upstairs to that top attic from the east wall, I believe that is, they won't necessarily see that hole from afar because you have that mattress and the sandbags on the other side.
You can see BRK doing the very standard west side take. And again, the reason you do this is because once you have the west side cleared, it's really difficult for the defenders to actually get there as a roam because there's no basement, there's no 3rd level. It's just kind of 2. So clear it out, establish dominance, and then work on Meeting Hall and main lobby drop down. It's going to be BRK's strategy here.
Now, there's still plenty of time here
he saw the barrel.
BRK. He saw the barrel, and I think he saw the kneecap as well, so he's likely to pop in and actually call that out to his team.
That's a really easy kill if you just come around the corner pre-firing. Even if he's got a shotgun, you're going to be able to shoot. You're going to be able to kill him before he can even react.
He saw the tip of the gun there. Nesk knows he's exactly there. Sees him moving. Misses the shot, though. C4 comes on up.
That was close.
Very close. You having good placement, realizing how vulnerable he is in that position. Hey, saw what Yuke did right there. He went and used that Jackal gadget for a moment just to see if someone had actually climbed up the ladder. Fortunately, though, for Elevate, no one had, so he won't get detected. But I believe that little vault up onto the wood platform here where Yuke is did get him noticed.
Yeah, Elevate's so heavily invested in Meeting Hall right now, and they've lost control of Attic. So if the Attic drop gets opened up, the guys in Meeting Hall from Elevate are going to get massacred.
We are seeing Nesk work his way down the main stairway right now. His breaching rounds are gone, which means that this last barbed wire could prove to be a detriment unless they have some sort of nade that they're going to use or try to expose their sledge to hammer it down. You got 45 seconds left on the board. It's still a 5-on-5. Not too much physical engagement has happened, but we have
look at
started
Elevate.
to pinch.
They are getting ready to attack this main lobby drop down.
Shuttle's going to be the first one to get into this engagement by over-peeking here. And he's going to snack on down onto Zig. Gets traded out right away there by Yuke, though. Smoke Grenade's going to go down. The plan's going to try to get on top of that laundry machine. Skies picks up a kill into this. The shotgun from Laxing from the attic will take out Julio. Now from above, we're going to see a shotgun from the final moments here of Laxing getting it onto Yuke, and Skies picking up the kill onto 1.
So what happened there for BRK is they were going for a Meeting Hall main lobby drop-down attack, but unfortunately, they never managed to alleviate the pressure coming from Elevate in the Meeting Hall. Because they didn't take care of Laxing and because they didn't take care of the 2 players inside, Laxing and I think it was Shuttle also. Yeah, Laxing and Shuttle, because they didn't get taken care of inside Meeting Hall, it was really simple for Elevate to patiently wait for the drop down to start getting pressure onto the bomb site, then start their push. I mean, not only did you see those 2 Meeting Hall players push out, but that at the same time, Skies was coming up through the main lobby stairs. And, you know, that pincer basically ended the round.
I mean, you could see the mindset that Laxing had. I don't know if it was Laxing or someone else who threw out the C4, almost getting Yuke earlier on in the round when he was on his drone at the top of attic. But I'm not necessarily sure if they knew that Yuke was up there, or if it was just a matter of we just want to open that up because we know we're going to pass through it later on. It was just sort of luck. If
I'm pretty sure they had a camera inside the attic and they were waiting. They saw you challenging from their side of the attic, but I don't know. Anything's possible. It was a well-placed C4 either way. You can also sound whore that one pretty easily. But yeah, we do have BRK. They are going to be defending upstairs. See if they can make this work. They were successful in their basement defense, and what that really came down to again was just Elevate forcing themselves into a bit of a meat grinder and not giving themselves room for maneuverability. And as you may know, Elevate is the type of team that they need that maneuverability. They need to be able to come up on the flank. They need to be able to work together as a team instead of just kind of showing themselves in 1v1s. That doesn't work amazingly well. So on this particular bomb site, the question then becomes, how is Elevate going to attack this? Are they going to go for what we're seeing right now, which appears to be a west side clear, to take out the kitchen? We established that the kitchen doesn't have any roamers inside of it. Then use the buck shotgun to open up the floor underneath the defenders above you and try to get a couple picks before moving your way up through white stairs and the main west window. And if they do execute this strat, are they going to get the picks that are necessary? Because the only way it works is if they can put themselves in a significant man advantage early on into the round.
So referring quickly back to the last round, we had said, or one of the things I had said that I wanted to see was that team coordination. And that's what we saw from Shuttle and Laxing at the very end in that meeting hall. Shuttle came from the main meeting hall entrance, got that distraction, allowed Laxing to get up to the ladder of Attic and come back around and snag the final kill. So that's kind of that team coordination, that team supporting that I'm expecting to see here from these top teams.
So Elevate clearing out very successfully the middle floor here. They have control over kitchen. There are no roamers right this second in a position to deal with this. We still have Yuke and Zig over by the red tower, but they're going to be pretty distant.
Bomb located by attackers.
Now we do have Nesk at the top of the stairs. There's still that one barbed wire, which if he's not going to use it to slow down Ash, he'll at least be able to hide inside of it. He's actually going to go for the peek here onto England, though. England sporting the AR-33. Oh, he's going to spot Nesk, actually tag him down to, I want to say, 5 health. However, no, it's a trade. Instant trade between Nesk and England. Both the final headshot landing from Nesk onto England. That's going to be a nice trade.
Good job there to Nesk, taking a losing situation and actually turning it into a bit of a victory, as the Elevate attack is stalling out quite a lot here. Despite getting us, despite the mana count still being even, this favors the defenders.
Now, I want to say Smoke is inside of the closet, or he's on the other side of the wall there in meeting hall. Just waiting for one little poke and opportunity to get Shuttle down. Actually spotted in there through the crevice, and we're going to see Skies rush in from the back stairwell, snag down one. Plant's going to go down by the A window on the west side. Laxing also picks up that kill with the MK17 on a Zig. Julio trying to do his own work on the chapstick with a frag, but Shuttle answering with his own kill there onto Yuke. A 3-on-1 now. Julio, we've talked about it before, he can clutch situations, but not if Laxing's looking right at him.
So there it is, that west window pressure coming in at just the right moment. And it was a well-executed attack from Elevate. I have to hand it to them there. They didn't get too bottlenecked in any one particular lane. And that is just what you want to see when you're dealing with an attack like that. Because usually that's the sort of attack that gets so muddled up. But what they did is establish control over the middle floor, that kitchen. And once they had said control, they didn't force out Meeting Hall. We see a lot of teams try to force their way into the roamers they know to be over by Meeting Hall side. But they detected that, oh, look, there's actually 2 roamers over by Meeting Hall, which means there's only 2 players on the bomb site right now. So let's just push in unison into the bomb site. And as they did that, those roamers started to rotate back. They were ready for them, and it was a pretty easy victory for Elevate. Now Elevate stretching their lead to 3-1. This is not the match I think everyone was expecting, at least not early on here. Now, of course, yesterday we did see quite a lot of comebacks from multiple different teams, so BRK still has a leg in this. However, this is looking good for Elevate.
Now, the Frost plays here that we're seeing from Elevate is not something new, we'll say. Frost used to be very picked often back in previous years of this game, of the Pro League last year. However, we are starting to see more of it played recently with Elevate. They're choosing to go with the Frost, laying down the Frost traps either at the big window on west side or even the rappel windows of Kids Room, which you see one on the left window there. So this is something that a lot of teams have stopped using, but I think Elevate's trying to make a comeback with it.
Well, you know the thing about the meta in Rainbow Six is it sometimes can be circular. So like that Frost trap, right? So when they're in the meta, and teams are using them a lot, you expect them, you pre-aim them, you actually go for them actively, right? When they're not so much, then you expect them less and you don't necessarily look for them, and they can catch people off guard. But more importantly, and the main reason that Frost Trap is there isn't actually necessarily to trap anyone. It's primarily there just to force you to look down as you vault through that window, because during that period there, you're basically defenseless. And I know it seems like, oh, well, it's only for like a second. Yeah, but that's beside the point, really. A second is more than enough time for a player at this level to snag that kill onto you.
As well as just a notification aspect of it. You know that they can only see it if they vault in, and therefore, if they're going to shoot at it, that's going to be a vault in. However, it looks like Skies takes out one, gets instantly fragged back by Zig outside on the patio.
Well, technically, in like this, on some places like the main west window, you can actually rappel up and shoot it, but you still have to put in that time. That's like 10 seconds gone because you did that. The attackers are kind of all over the place right now. BRK has people in the northwest and the south sides of the building, and they are trying to push up through these white stairs, but it's a lot. They're stretched very thin.
Oh, and it looks as though England, who is being a little aggressive by that big west window, will be spotted out by Uke and finished off. Laxing still sitting steady right there, though.
Yeah, actually, Elevate stretched just as thin. They only have one person on the bomb site right now. Chapstick and Shuttle are pretty far. It's all on Laxing, who's going to get taken out by Nesk. And Uke, with the second kill, will take out Shuttle on that rotation back to the bomb site. It's all down to Chapstick now in a 1 versus 4.
Yeah, he's going to give away his position here by firing from underneath. So a 4-on-1 instantly cleaned up there by giving away himself. And BRK evening this, or actually not evening, it's 3-2 right now. They're still down by 1 round.
They needed that win, though. That was so important for them to snag the win on that round. If you put it on match point 4-1, that's going to be completely discouraging. So good job to BRK there, and we saw the same problem that BRK had on their top floor defense replicated by Elevate there, which was too much investment in their roam game over by the tower and meeting hall side of the building. If Elevate or BRK defending next time either one of them defends the top floor, manage to actually reassess the situation and invest aptly in the actual bomb site, I think that it will be a little bit of a different situation there in terms of more of a slugfest, less of a, hey, let's get a kill, then push in for the attackers. Now we are going to actually have the basement defended by BRK. I think both of these teams have actually been preferring the basement overall. Even if Elevate's going to bring us to the top floor first, it seems like the basement's the more suited bomb site for both.
Yeah, and I think that's recently come about with the introduction of Miro 2 seasons ago.
Right.
Just due to the fact that you now don't need to guess when they're making that push, when to toss your smoke grenades or your gas grenades. You can actually visibly see that.
Yeah, BRK is going to be investing heavily inside that meeting hall, but the question is, are they going to invest as much as Elevate did? Because Elevate, they actually played in the meeting hall for the entire round. They never left it once. And that's a really difficult thing to do. Playing that aggressively can often work against you. Uke waiting for the aggression from the west side, but Elevate is actually going to be playing again for a tower construction tunnel take. Now, the tower construction tunnel take, the reason you go for this take instead of clearing from west into main lobby drop down is because it allows you to negate roamers essentially. You can avoid any flank potential because, I mean, what do? You cut off tower, and it's a really simple push down into the basement through construction tunnel. There's no way for the defenders to come from behind. But the problem with it is, again, and we've talked about this before, is you throw yourself into a meat grinders. Yeah, sure, you're not going to get flanked, but there's not room for maneuverability as an attacker either.
So here we have it now. There are 2 minutes still left on the clock, and we're going to be watching, like we said, Elevate taking over the red tower. Sky's already working his way down the stairs, deciding to come back out with a little bit of droning going on first. Chapstick going to open up. This is actually going to force one to relocate, as well as I think that is Nesk.
Very important thermite charge that. Next, they're going to try and pressure into the attic, of which there is, I don't think there are any BRK players right now.
Nope, one's going to drop on in from the meeting hall back onto site. He knows that this wall has likely been opened up. He's had it called out by his team.
Oh, we actually still have Uke all the way upstairs in the attic, so if he gets a late flank, this could be detrimental to the Elevate attack, but I think they're playing very conservatively in terms of meeting hall. They're ready for that.
I think that's Shuttle who's keeping an eye on that drop, and so he will have to just keep an eye open there. Looks like he's going to drone that out for the time being. Moves in forward. Now there's 60 seconds left on the clock here. You still have Shuttle watching the flank, which is going to be Uke, who will likely get caught out by that. Lax is going to make the first progression, though, with his flashbangs in towards the box and in towards the A site.
Very dangerous game Uke is playing right now. Shuttle just an inch off of a free kill, and he will get it.
That's going to be Uke, just not necessarily knowing everyone that's inside of the meeting hall, and therefore gets picked off. A 4-on-5 is going to ensue. 40 seconds to go. Gas grenade is getting tossed on out, but he actually picked it off, and that gas grenade, I don't necessarily, we'll see if we'll get it exploded in time. C4 is going to get tossed on over, misses its target. 30 seconds to go, and we are going to have Elevate push in forward. Zig's going to take down the shots there on Disguise, a 4-4. Now Zig now moving back onto the site, looking from above though. Shuttle now has total control over Meeting Hall. He doesn't need to worry about the flank from above because there is no one there. They're all on top of A. We're going to see Laxing and England pick up a kill. Chapstick as well gets his own teammate as well as taking out Nest. The C4 kill from Julio though will take down the diffuser planter. Laxing now trying to cover from the closet. Looks like Julio trying to swing on out. Knows he's there. Gets taken out by Laxing, saying this time you will not get me.
Yeah, that's really good job there by Laxing, not making the same mistake twice. And because of that, Elevate will come out on top on that round. So what happened there is basically just good trades back and forth from Elevate. And probably the most monumental thing that happened in that round to cause Elevate to win that is Yuke's failed roam inside the attic. Because that flank pressure just didn't happen in any sense, there wasn't time wasted, there wasn't pressure applied, there was just one person dying up in the attic. And because that pressure was alleviated, it allowed Elevate to focus entirely down into the bomb site, knowing that the last 4 defenders were waiting for that push. And it just came down to trades with one-man advantage. They maintained that, and that's all that really matters. Now Elevate going to be defending their basement on match point. So they had good luck last time they were in the basement defense, and what ended up happening is BRK were unable to clear out that meeting hall, and as a result, the meeting hall pressure from Elevate did hinder the BRK attack into the main lobby drop quite a lot. The question now is, will BRK be able to deal with meeting hall? Are they going to focus on it intently, or will they mix up their attack entirely, push over to the tower and the construction tunnel, which is what we've been seeing Elevate do?
We have been seeing a lot of that, and that seems, like you said, to have just been coming from the fact that they don't necessarily need to clear out the roamers from the west side of the map if you can just take over red tower and push them from blue. Elevate's still going to maintain a lot of control here inside of the meeting hall. BRK going to push it from the west side, clear out the top floor. There is no roamer on the very top, so we are going to have, I believe that is Yuke, just making sure that's all clear.
So this is BRK investing in the same strategy they've been doing this whole time on their basement attack. And it all comes down to how useful Elevate can make their meeting hall be. Last time it was the end-all be-all to the round. It was great. It did a tremendous amount. If BRK focused up on taking meeting hall, if they execute onto it as a 5-man before they push into the lobby drop, this could spell disaster for Elevate.
And now this is match point. I don't think Zig might. Yeah, Zig realizes that, okay, it's banded.
Waiting for one to Thatcher.
He's waiting for the Thatcher behind him. There it goes. Now he's going to get this wall opened up. He knows Shuttle's not on the wall. The drone that they've used out has spotted, realizing he's off the site by the ladder. Wall gets open. That's
going to cause Shuttle to retreat back into the basement, but Laxing will linger on the sandbags. And then we've seen this a couple times before, is, you know, those sandbags is a pretty strong position, but it's very dangerous all the same. There's a lot of angles for you to cover. 4, in fact, if technically the meeting hall, doors, both of them, the wall into kitchen and the attic.
So here we have it, a minute 15 left to go. One's going to try droning out meeting hall, spotting potentially Laxing inside of the podium. There's a lot of information gathering here, and this is kind of that second information gathering phase. First, you started off, we are going to have Laxing go get injured here on the podium, and Jaeger, that's going to be Sky's looking like he wants to come down, but it thinks it might be a bait, so he's going to stay up top, wait for someone to come and finish him off.
So BRK doesn't necessarily know that Laxing's been downed, as there is no point notifiers, and it's possible that he still thinks Laxing is up and waiting for the push.
Plan is actually going down right now by Zig.
The smoke missed.
He's going to take that, but the C4 stops it in its tracks. That means Chapstick picks up the first frag of the round here. 4 on 5, 35 seconds to go. Julio's got to be the next attempt to try to get this plant down. Picks it up, actually moves to the corner by the laundry machine, and he gets taken out by Skies, who gets instantly refragged by Yuke. Now it's a 3 on 3 here. You still have Laxing, who's been injured in the meeting hall. He will not get picked back up. Yuke trying to be the third attempt to get this planted. He's in the 2 tucked into the corner. He's got to turn around. There it goes. Plant's going to go down unless he gets taken out. Laxing and shuttled down, as well as Chapstick in England. BRK not ready to give up just yet. It's now going to be 4-3. They have one more round to tie it up.
A good attack there from BRK, and it really, again, comes down to the fact that they managed to nullify that meeting hall pressure. Elevate unable to get the flanks that they so desperately needed. And in this case, they had to force themselves through the 2 lanes they had still available to themselves, laundry and the main hallway downstairs. Those are easily covered from the drop down and the stairs them very safely. There's no real like pressure on the attackers. They have to be the ones to make the mistake to lose that fight. And as a result, they didn't. Well, BRK certainly did not make said mistake, and Elevate will be one step closer to overtime. But they still have a chance here. And if they win this next attack onto the basement, it's going to be map number 1 for Elevate, and that will be that. Move on to map number 2. Now, the way they have been attacking onto BRK's basement hold this whole time has been via the construction and the red tower. And BRK knows this. They are going to be ready for the same attack to happen for I think the 3rd, the 4th time maybe. So I think they're going to likely stack up on it, try to establish some counters, maybe even contest the tower, at least for a little bit, try and get an early frag. Anything's possible, but they are going to have something to counter this push. And it will be, I think, the same push yet again. We'll see in just a bit.
Elevate looking like they're starting out in the street parking lot area, which is going to be that front spawn.
Yeah, maybe they'll go for an actual main lobby attack, but it's they're a little bit spread out right now. They've got people all over the place, and I guess they're just going to try and figure out what the best course of action is going to be here. Nesk is inside the meeting hall, and Sky is pressuring in from the garage. Or actually, he's just moved over to the kitchen, but Sky's pressuring in from the garage. He's going to be looking for an opportunity to get the kill on Nesk, who is going even deeper onto the west side.
And now we are going to spot, I think Laxing was the one moving downstairs from construction into the blue. He's typically been known for this. We saw him on Bank yesterday. He was trying to solo pressure his way in through the tunnel or in through the sewers of Bank. We're seeing him do it this time here inside of the blue construction entrance. Shuttle going to open up the wall just enough for Blackbeard to get his head through, but not enough to actually navigate through. And that's going to be that backwards pressure we're going to see Laxing put on.
And meanwhile, Skies was contesting Nesk over by the garage, but he's going to think better of it and move over to Tower just to supplement the continuation of this attack into the construction tunnel and Red Tower yet again. This is what Elevate's been doing the whole time, and it's what they're going to continue to do. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yuke is playing in the top of Tower, though, on Smoke, which could actually be really bad for Elevate moving forward in this round. If they can't deal with him, or at least deny his flank, then it's actually going to hurt their attack a lot.
Now you can see Skies is just droning his way down this corridor. He's waiting to see, okay, he knows one is behind the box. He's going to hop his drone in, see that no one's on the close corner. This means that when he rushes in, he's just going to look down the hallway and then go for the shots there on 2-1.
Yuke is still in the top of Tower. No one from Elevate is actually watching that. As the push goes down, he could drop down and kill many people if he's given the opportunity, which he has been given.
Walls have been opened up. One looking for a very small peek, but Laxing is right there, and he's going to pick up that headshot. Nice frag onto one. That's going to be the first kill of the round. Now a 5-on-4. Yuke and Zig drastically hurt, limping around with about 5 health. Zig has been taken down for the count. You've got 2 members left. Julio and Nesk. A C4 kill, though, is going to even it out back in the man count. Julio with a fabulous frag. Zig trying to crawl his way back to health, but it's not going to be in his favor here.
He's actually going to make it, I think.
Oh, he might. Guy's actually going to go for the peek. Goes, picks up Julio. Now all he has to do is just run around, but he actually got Zig back up. Nesk moving around, and it looks like Sky picked up another kill. Can he get a 3K in the round? He's got Nesk to deal with. Throws out the flashbang, gets injured in the process.
Nesk
now Laxing, he doesn't know it yet, but the more flashbangs coming on out. There are plenty of flashbangs here now. Laxing just going to move in forward, spots him, and
there you go.
Kill there. Elevate takes map number 1, 5-3.
Great attack there from Elevate, and Laxing, where he didn't clutch on this first attack, pushing in on the basement. He did manage to get it the second 2 times. A very well played match there by him. And so that attack, now it looked like it actually may have gone bad for them, as Yuke was inside of the top tower throughout pretty much the entire round, left unattended. Their only flank hold, Elevate's only flank hold was Shuttle inside of the meeting hall, and he wasn't really looking towards Yuke. But unfortunately, bad timing from Yuke resulted in the flank being nullified. Like they weren't holding it. It's just, hey, Shuttle happened to be looking towards him at the moment he started his flank.
Now that round 1 to win it there for, I think that was Elevate, that was actually spectacular. Because it was a 2-on-1, and they, instead of having one guy plant in the far kid's dorm and the other one trying to find out where that last person was, he was able to just come around and act. He didn't even have to kill him. He just downed him, took him off of the planting.
Right, and there's that great pressure from the meeting hall on the basement defense from Elevate. Laxing really shining through there for his team. Just overall, a great match between both of these teams. Had a lot of good ideas, but I think it's clear here, Elevate put in a lot of work on Oregon. They definitely studied how BRK plays, and they honestly, a lot of these kills came down to Elevate knowing exactly where BRK was, even if they didn't drone them out, because they read into their strategy.
Yeah, and on this map in particular for Elevate, not only did they have to identify and work against what BRK was doing, they didn't just have to look at the enemy, their opponent. They had to look at themselves, because as we noted before, this is not the map that they've had the best track record on.
Yeah, it's all right. I mean, they're not bad at Oregon, right? It's just the sort of thing that they need to figure out a little bit more, refine it a little bit more. And they've certainly done just that, ladies and gentlemen, as they have taken map number 1 against BRK, which is a team that previously has, well, quite a good track record on Oregon.
So map number 2, which we'll be getting underway in just a few moments, is going to be on Bank. Now, we saw Bank yesterday. I believe that was with Ents and Elevate. And that, I think, went in favor of Ents, if I remember correctly.
So this is an interesting discussion, because the thing about Bank is that and Canadian was right on the money. Troy was right on the money here when he said that BRK, or Brazilian in general, Bank is very different than what we're used to seeing out of the European and North American regions. Now, you may not know this, but Bank is not a map that EU or NA like to play. It is shunned almost. It's put into a corner. And I think it maybe just falls out of favor because it's not as, well, it's not to some teams considered as good as other maps like Border, for example. But either way, it doesn't get played a whole lot, whereas in the Latin American region, it's a little bit more prominent.
Yeah, I'd say it's in that middle tier pick range in the Latin American scene and the 0 pick range for the Europe and North America.
Well, it gets picked, right, but not nearly as common. But here we are getting on to the Bank, and we're going to go through a highlight reel to show you the bomb sites that are available. We can do the top floor, we can go for the open area, the archives, tellers, or we can do the basement. Those are your options on this map. Now, most commonly we see basement as the primary defense, tellers, archives, and open area cafeteria being your secondaries. And then CEO very rarely gets picked. It's not a very, I don't think it's a very viable bomb site overall. And yeah, it's kind of just gets pushed into the back burner. Lockers CCTV going to be our first defense for Elevate, who are going to be starting us out downstairs. And this is what we expect to see. I mean, we've seen a couple times some teams try to go for the upstairs bomb sites because they're a little bit more versatile. As a defender, you have more options in terms of maneuverability. But Elevate's not going to do that. They're going to say, no, we'll go downstairs.
Now, it is worth noting here that this is BRK E-Sports map. They're the ones that picked this map. However, they have struggled with it on the past against Team Font in the regular season.
Right.
So it's I'm going to say up to them to, again, not only know their opponent that they're going up against, but to reflect upon themselves and realize what opportunities they missed, what mistakes they had made, and are they going to be able to turn that around in their favor this time?
Yeah, I think them losing to Font in the regular season is actually going to mean that their bank is a little bit more refined than it should be. Like, every time one of these teams loses on a map, they don't just say, oh no, we lost, and move on with their lives. They take that loss, they go onto the map that they lost on, and they analyze why. They find out why, and they try to fix it. So every time a team loses on a map, they get so much better at it. And as a result, I think that BRK is going to have some tricks to show us here on Bank today. And they will be attacking onto the basement first. Now, attacking onto the basement is interesting because most of the time it comes down to opening up the drops and then pressuring in from server, trying to go for that default plant on the server wall. And Elevate has set themselves up in a way that they can try and counter not only the drops, but also the server. You've got Skies playing inside the server, and you've got Shuttle all the way upstairs inside of the Archives. Now, Archives is actually a really difficult angle to challenge from square stairs as an attacker. And if Shuttle can maintain his position there, which he will not in this instance, then he can actually apply a lot of pressure to BRK. Nesk is actually all the way upstairs already. He's going to be opening up above Shuttle. So smart by Shuttle to fall back into tellers instead of trying to maintain pressure in Archives.
Now, down at the bottom of the main stairwell, we will see Laxing there, getting out of sight from Nesk, who, as we saw just then, took off the Valkyrie camera. But again, this top floor pressure is just trying to clear this all out. Now, generally what we saw BRK Esports do it on Oregon, was actually bring that Jackal to help clear out the roamers. And here, we're seeing the IQ get put into the mix.
IQ can be useful, but not in the same way. Shuttle going to get the first kill of this round onto Neska. Good pressure there from Shuttle. Usually this doesn't happen. Usually this roamer would be dead by now, but half the round in, he's already gotten a kill and applied quite a lot of pressure and time wasted for BRK. Next person to contend with him is going to be Julio, and this really needs to be a frag for Julio.
He actually spotted him out, and his drone, I don't think, got detected. There it is. Nice zig coverage as he takes away Shuttle from coming around behind.
Yeah, Shuttle almost got that flank down, but I think it was just a straight bait from Julio. Good job to him. There's got to be somebody on Elevate using a camera to communicate their positions here, but unfortunately, Zig got overlooked. Drop downs are going to get opened up, but the big selling point here for Shuttle's roam being successful is that they're getting opened up with only 54 seconds left on the clock. That is not a lot of time to execute an attack.
Uke will be spotting out Skies at the top of the stairs, goes for the shots, lands a couple under the shoulder, but doesn't get all of them done. Now he's going to move over to the server stack as the floor gets opened up here.
A bomb has been located.
Looks like he actually might have thought better of it. Now they are going to try to push it in forward. They thought Skies moved all four all the way back on the site, but he's going to grab one. Can he grab the second kill into Uke? Oh, he's going to try to go for the pistol kill and then fall back, reload a little bit, and they finish it off there. That's going to be a 2K for Skies. Now it's a 4-on-2 here. One and Julie are going to be the last two inside of the open area. They're going to need to fall or go through servers. There's not enough time to do anything else. And they are going to opt to fall down through. They know Sky's coming around. Looks like he gets taken out on the flank. A 3-on-2 now. Julio does fall successfully. One moves in forward. They do not have the diffuser. All up to Julio here, and they are just going to hide away, not go for the kill, and it will be round ending in favor of Elevate.
Yeah, Sky's got the diffuser down there in the server stack and went for that long flank because he knew only 18 seconds. There's not really a lot that the last two attackers can do, so he may as well apply as much pressure as possible, considering they're going to only be able to drop down into the bomb site and die. That round basically ended for BRK when they couldn't handle Skies playing behind the server stack. That was just the extent of it. I mean, it was a very good roam also from Shuttle upstairs. Shuttle managed to waste 2 whole minutes of the round and get a frag to top it all off. So good teamwork there from Shuttle and Skies both to win that round. And now we will have BRK going onto their own basement defense. Now, the thing to note is that basement defense is the bomb site that you expect to win as a defender. So BRK should get this round back and put it onto 1-1 if they have what it takes here on Bank. Pressure's on them though. I mean, this is the second map and Elevate managed to get a pretty sound win on the first one. So, you know, BRK's got to be feeling like, all right, we got to get this.
Now, it is worth noting that there's basically 2 different strats for this server and CCTV room hold, and that is to leave the left side soft, the left wall at the doorway from server into the A site, leave that soft. And sometimes people will do that with making shotgun holds either at head level or feet level, not enough for the attackers to try to scoot in and get the plant, but also enough that they can't necessarily get that thermite charge down onto it. The other one is to reinforce that wall and force them to breach it open. And if you get their thermite or their Habana early on, then guess what? That wall's secure. They can't get that easy plant.
Yeah, the way to counter that as Elevate would be to move one of your soft destructors over to the wall, that being like Ash, Sledge, or Buck. But the problem with that is that it throws a little bit of a kink in your plans. So like your guy that opens up the wall can't open up the wall, so you have to take your flank hold off the flank hold and rotate them. You know, that takes some time. It takes communication. It's like, and picking up each other's roles, sometimes that opens up opportunities for the defenders.
Shuttle now calling it all clear for himself to move into the Skylight Lounge top floor. Finishing droning out here, Chapstick will open up that admin office drop hatch. That's going to be the first of 3 drop hatches to likely get opened up. The 3, there's the second and third.
Pulse is still inside the server. That's very dangerous. Elevate's going to have to deal with this soon. Get Zig out from behind there.
There's that soft wall destruction we were talking about. Now, they have opened up enough, as we just saw Zig navigate on through from server stack. That opening will actually allow them to bypass the drop hatch and keep on pressure inside of that server lounge. Waxing, however, will take advantage of this. He knows that he doesn't have too much room coverage or too much coverage behind this server stack. So with 1:20 to go, they are going to push in forward.
Yeah, Elevate's pretty centered around the server push right this second. They don't have a lot of other opportunities. They still have those drop downs open, and they are pressuring on them. But the primary attack is going to be coming from the server. They have the wall open. They can get the diffuse plant. They just have to bait out the explosives and the smokes.
Now, they do have the yokai, though, and that, along with Zig, who is going to be on that heartbeat sensor, will likely be able to get as much information as possible when that plant's going down. Nesk, however, will be taken out yet again, seemingly early on here.
So that's Elevate really having the roaming number for BRK. I can't help but feel that after the VODs came out from yesterday, Elevate went over that and said, hey, if we disable BRK's roamers, they're defenseless.
And there it is. That's going to be the Yokai stopping that plant going down. You saw the smoke grenade get taken out. Wonderful wall bang by Laxing there. Getting the headshot there into Yuka as he tries to toss out yet again another gas grenade. Now the plant is going to go down here successfully. There is a C4 that could get tossed out by Zig, but he's being pressured by England. England will be taken out of commission here by Zig. He picks up a double kill. Skies returning the double kill in favor of Elevate.
Great attack there by Elevate. A couple of major flaws, though, not having the IQ in a position to deal with the Echo drone. That could have proved detrimental. I think, though, once they established the dumps over those drop downs, they pressured BRK off of their direct hold, put it all onto the Echo drone. The take-in from server was pretty simple. Another thing is those roamers, again, completely nullified. And as a result, BRK doesn't have any, again, they don't really have anything to stop the main push through server, apart from an Echo drone, and that's very dangerous. Putting all your hopes onto an Echo drone is not ideal. Now Elevate with a 2-0 lead over BRK are looking very strong in this matchup, and they might just propel themselves into those finals.
Yeah, the BRK we're seeing today seems a little bit, we'll call it off-footed.
You know what it is?
A little bit.
It's not, I don't think it's BRK off-foot. I think it's Elevate straight counter-stratting them, or not necessarily counter-stratting them, just countering BRK. Because the thing about BRK is they're not set in their ways. One of their mantras is flexibility, and they are a very flexible team. But I think Elevate must have just gotten their number, figured out, reviewed those VODs, like I said earlier, reviewed those VODs and said, all right, well, you know, if we disable the roamers, which there will always be roamers, then that right there, it just puts us in a huge advantage. Plus, they go for the more soft target wall, like, for example, they don't reinforce the drop-down, the main lobby drop-down on Oregon. They don't reinforce the walls towards server stack on Bank. I mean, there's a lot of things that are pretty common that BRK will replicate from map to map. And I think Elevate just read into that and knows more than we do. At least that's what I'm seeing. That's going to be pushing in through stock, and he's going to be going for some top floor control. Elevate does have some roamers, but ladies and gentlemen, they're all in the basement. This is something that Elevate does quite a lot.
They do not like roaming above.
Yeah, they don't.
They always go main floor. Whatever floor the bomb site on is one under.
Yeah.
So Nesk having free range of this top floor, however, will move progressing towards that main lobby, the circle stairs, having, I believe that is Juke right behind him, taking on the elevator hallway top floor. One is outside on the north windows of CEO. He's going to pop in there momentarily. You can see, I think that was Skies on his heartbeat sensor inside of Archives, just saying, okay, there's someone repelled out here.
Seems like it's going to be a main lobby attack here from BRK. It's a very easy attack to coordinate, and it's similar to a tower attack, or tower construction attack on Oregon, because you don't have to deal with those roamers. One was downed through the floor, being challenged on using the UMP, but unfortunately Skies unable to secure that kill with his C4.
I think right there, that the fact that they had that floor opened up right for that window repel, that to me is exactly what you were talking about. They have scoped out exactly what BRK does, and in some aspects, what are their preferred methods of entry into the building, that being one of them, and one paid the price for it. There's 60 seconds to go, though. Still 5-on-5 with one licking his wounds here. Sky's going to try to navigate upstairs into that late-game top-floor roam.
Yeah, but he's not roaming.
Not necessarily expected.
Yeah, he's not roaming above anyone right now. He's only got one to contest with upstairs, and the rest of BRK is pushing in through that main lobby. They're going to be going for the teller's take. The smoke is going to start stalling things out, but it's going to be England to face this attack directly.
So the push from BRK is going to be inside of the teller's line, basically that front lobby spawn, or front lobby entry point into the site. And Laxing going to try to swing in from the open area, looking towards Julio, misses the shots, and he will be picked off from the lone office through the wall. Wonderful little punch hole he had opened up there. Sky's getting one kill into one from above. Looking on forward, the gasket is going to halt the push. Nest picks up one. England and Chapstick trying to return the favor. Zig going to finish off the headshot there to Chapstick. A 1 or 2-on-2. Now the plant's going to try to go down here by Zig. Sky's still looking for where is this going down. He will spot him, and he will get him. Oh, he's going to miss him just in time. 4 seconds to go. Can he get the plant down in time? It's all up to Skies. They've moved on over. Skies pull at the heartbeat sensor. You might be able to spot him. And he will not get it in time. Plant goes down successfully. It's going to be a 2-on-1. Sky's still looking to pick off one. Can he see him at all? Not yet. Going to give away his position. He realizes this is not it. I don't have the time. I need to get over the balcony. Couple shots can actually be tossed up from through the floor at him. He's now going to have to go over the balcony or down the stairs, hopefully not injuring himself along the way. He's going to have to go through this. You already know Julio's standing. He's coming around this main floor. Let's deny one entry with the Claymore. There are a mere 20 seconds to go. Julio's watching left, Zig watching right. And you're going to have Skies meet the face of Zig. No, he's looking away. There's Julio looking on through the cubicle. And that is going to be round one by BRK.
Good attack there from BRK, and what it comes down to, ladies and gentlemen, is brute force. A great unified front there. Just all four of the attackers from BRK just straight pushing on in at the same time and trading each other out, trusting their teammates that, hey, if I die on this push, that's fine. I know my teammate will get the refrag, and they did just that. Once the main holds inside, the anchors inside the bomb site were taken care of, it all came down to the last two roamers from Elevate, and unfortunately they didn't have enough pressure vertically to deny that defuse plan. Despite the BRK flank hold faltering and actually not getting anything done there, it didn't really matter because they had full bomb site control, and that's a very important factor. Working on just the objective there, not trying to win on anything else.
And we did just see the scoreboard there. Skies leading the team with 7 kills. The rest of his team only picking up 1. But again, that's not necessarily being carried. It's the fact that his team is working together to allow Skies to get in positions to get these kills.
Basement hold going to be coming from BRK as they were unsuccessful on their first attempt, and it really came down to having no way to pressure on the main bomb plant, or the main diffuser plant inside of A on default spot. All they had is an echo drone. They got so pushed back off that red hall and server. I feel like if Zig can actually stay inside server stack and maybe do a little bit of work as a pulse, then it's going to be a lot more difficult for Elevate. But Elevate has proven in the past that they are very efficient at taking care of server. Laxian's only lost that server tunnel push like once.
That was the C4 yesterday getting tossed.
Yeah. Every other time, he just waits patiently for an opportunity, waits for his teammates to call it, and then pushes in when he has said opportunity. Zig is contesting Laxing's push into the construction tunnel very heavily right now, and Laxing is just playing extremely patiently. We do have Elevate pushing on upstairs, trying to clear out that roam game that we've talked about many times before. See how much luck they have there.
Zig going to try to go back into the gold room, where this is what happened last time. And you had the Echo, which was Julio and Zig inside of gold. Those were the last two alive. They got pinched. They weren't able to get that C4 tossed out. Yeah. I think one of the biggest things, though, was Uke getting finished off early on, as well as his gas grenade getting destroyed mid-toss.
Yet again, Zig did almost nothing inside of server. He didn't waste very much time at all, and he didn't get a kill, but he managed to make it back alive, and that is something important by itself. Now Elevate has control over the server, and it's going to be pretty simple for them to execute a push into, well, yep, you guessed it, the A bomb site. As all 5 of the defenders are on the bomb site, there's yet only C4, Smoke, and an Echo to stop this push from happening.
And you talked about it before, making one of the support roles fall off of their hold, coming down and opening up the soft wall. That's what we're watching Shuttle do right now. He's trying to open it up so they can get that backwards plant down. Uke is going to have to play very cautiously, though, because that wall, he doesn't have a lot of room to get that tossed out without being spotted by Laxing. There's going to be the first gas grenade. Yokai's going to move in forward now. Zig is calling it out. He's saying they are moving in. Plant's going to go down here momentarily. You're going to watch the Yokai get in position right behind the desk. And it's likely going to pop off a couple shots here. There are 45 seconds to go. Chapstick still trying to bait out these gas grenades as England rains down some support from above. He needs to watch 2 angles, though, below the doorway as well as the top pressure, which I believe he might have some cover with. Plant will go down here. We're going to at least try to go down. Gas grenade's going to push him out. That, I think, is going to be the third and final smoke grenade. There's 25 seconds to go. It's going to be up to the Yokai to defuse this, or to deny the diffuser planter now. Julio's trying to get that into position, waiting for the last moment. He's actually going to get injured in the process. Drops one. And that means Laxing now needs to become more aggressive. He's going to move in forward, try to go for the plant. Yokai is well-willed to disorient him. He does get down. Sky's picking up 1 kill, though, with 2 members from the attacking Sky side down. It's going to be a 2-on-3 now. Looks like England and Nest both picking up kills. Plant's going to try to go down. Yokai stopping it 0 seconds to go. Plant will get denied by the Yokai. That is the power of the Echo.
That round came down to nothing but gas grenades, C4, and a Yokai drone, ladies and gentlemen. Exclusively. The attackers had full control over the drop downs, and so BRK played their game, played their strategy perfectly. They knew that that control was going to be forfeited, as it always is on that basement hold, and they played very passively. They played in positions where it wouldn't matter, and they used extension utility in, again, C4, gas grenades, and the Yokai drone to deny the plant from afar. And that right there is an example of the right way to counter a straight server take coming out from the attackers on that bomb site. We do have a recruit here from Skies, which is a little bit different, but I have to imagine it's for a reason.
It's got to be for the shield and barbed wire, because we don't see the C4 getting picked up.
It's a different recruit than I'm used to, too. The MP5K shield barbed wire is odd. Usually you'll see, usually see like the shotgun SMG-11, or the MP7 on defense, but it is, yeah, it's an odd pick, but I want to see what their plan is with that recruit.
5 seconds left before insertion.
So Elevate has actually won 2 rounds in a row, or sorry, BRK has run 2 rounds in a row, but so did Elevate earlier in the match, technically. But they're starting their comeback here in this, not only in this map, but this series in general, because they did lose that first map. They are going to be attacking seemingly from the main lobby yet again. They've got a lot of people spawning on that front area, but they do also have pressure coming from the roof.
So with this, like you said, there's going to be some pressure coming from the roof. We already see Nesk up here. One of the things that we typically see, though, on this Teller take is...
Oh, Laxing, very aggressive position outside the tunnel there. He was just prone to the right side of the tunnel, waiting patiently for someone to push onto him. And he managed to hit that shot. That is some lazy droning there coming out from the attackers, not seeing that.
Yeah, a little bit of assumption here, especially knowing that
I mean,
you know Elevate puts people downstairs. They don't roam topside. So with that being said, that's a big oversight.
Yeah, I mean, the position Laxing was in was, like, really dumb. So it makes sense that BRK would assume that that's not going to be a position someone's playing. But the beauty of it is that it wasn't dumb because, well, they assumed, didn't they? And that ended up getting Laxing a kill. Some very smart play there from Laxing to establish himself a little bit of player dominance earlier in the round.
Now, not only is that going to put a man down, but that's also going to waste a lot of time. Sky picking up that kill onto Yuke. Again, assuming that it's all clear, even though he didn't drone it out all the way. Because Skies had been in that room the entire time. Now that they've gotten 2 kills, they are going to start falling back onto site. Plenty of time here, though, for BRK to try to get into position, but it will have to initiate soon.
Yeah, I mean, they've got to execute. They're going for a main lobby take. They still have vertical control. Technically, they have somebody in CEO. But the thing is they don't have any soft destruction outside of Nesk, and Nesk doesn't really have a lot. We still have a roamer from Elevate all the way by the server, and this main lobby attack is just, I think, the thing about the main lobby attacks is that they're great in a 5v5, because you can just prevent a unified front and refrag your teammates. But in a 3v5, you don't have enough manpower to make it happen. Your guy entry fragging into either of the teller's doors
needs to get 3 kills.
He needs to get 3 kills, or at least 2, so that the follow-up can get the last one. But that's not going to happen. The Elevate is going to refrag their dead teammates on the initial entry, no matter what.
Now, the one thing they can do is exactly what's happening here, opening up the wall, and that will likely, if it does get opened up, which we see it here, that will likely push them out of the A site. We're going to have 1 get down by Zig. That's a good first frag. You've got Chapter on the right side of the shelving unit. We are going to have, I believe that is England. England's going to be tucked away through the corridor. Oh, he actually gets picked up through the cubicle. Good refrag by Chapstick, though, right behind the desk. Nest going to move in forward. Almost gets taken out, gets shot down, and Shuttle picking up the last kill there into Julio. Elevate's going to take the round, go up 3-2.
So despite BRK opening up a third lane, it ended up not mattering because 3 lanes is still a 3v5. You're still shoving yourself into the same general area, and the refrags are still going to come from Elevate. So a nice attempt there for BRK. I honestly have to give them applause to not just forcing it out. Like, most teams would just run through Teller's doors and die, and the round would be over. BRK looked for another opportunity. They presented themselves with it, they took it, and they came a lot closer to winning that round than they really should have. But yeah, so for the most part, the round honestly comes down to such early losses or in the beginning of the round. Now BRK, they are going to be defending Teller's Archives themselves, coming off of that successful basement defense. So I want to see how Elevate's going to actually attack this, because the way BRK has been attacking it is very simple. Take control of CEO, establish vertical control, and then pressure in through the Tellers. And usually you'll have one guy upstairs using vertical, and then 4 guys pushing in through the Tellers. And that's a great strategy. It works pretty well because all you really need to do is maintain yourself as a 5-man group. How is Elevate going to handle it? Are they going to try and come from the square stairs? They're going to try to push in exclusively from the top? What's the strategy here? Are they going to come into open area, open up the wall in small office? And BRK, as you can see here, setting themselves up, expecting an attack from the top stair or from the top floor in CEO. They are going to be holding it a lot firmer than Elevate does. And like you said,
whoa, Laxing,
jeez.
Wonderful shot from
That's
the top
garage.
of the garage unit. He must have been a former Glass or something. That kind of line of sight.
It's a very long angle. It's a difficult shot to hit all the way. Players playing all the way over in CEO, one of the longest angles that are actually played in the game. And that's really cool to see that Laxing is going to hit that now. He's putting his team in a great spot. And that's that early defense of the top floor from BRK actually working against them. It's good that Laxing actually checked that too. Not everyone would check that. Because he didn't fully utilize Garage. He didn't stay up there for the whole round. He came right on off. He just wanted to see if he could find an early kill. Now, only person from BRK upstairs is going to be Nesk, playing on that mirror window that we saw earlier. But it does look like the main focus of Elevate is just going to be the main lobby. There isn't anyone going up to CEO just yet. Laxing's actually going to be repelling in the main lobby skylight, and I think he's going to be their flank hold. That is really interesting.
We're going to have...
He's their flank hold from the main lobby skylight repel. That is hilarious. We don't often see that repel, but I think it's being used very wisely here from Elevate. This has got you full coverage, plus nobody expects this. Nobody.
He's basically just Spider-Man right now, not able to go up or down.
Right.
But I mean, with the holes opened up that were opened up by the defenders, it's giving him a better line of sight to do just his job.
Yeah, he's got a perfect position to be that flank hold, and meanwhile, Elevate the rest of the team. Just a very simple push in through Tellers. They're going to get that Tellers wall open or not, because the Echo drone is going to actually echo 3 of them. Great Echo play there by Zig. And we'll see, they are actually going to end up getting the wall open in the end. They still have plenty of time to make this push happen, but they are going to have to face a mirror window, which is inside the B-bomb site. Julio going to be the one playing that. C4 is tossed, but missed, and his Echo drone continues to wreak havoc.
Now Nesk is trying to sneak around from the elevator hallway. Looks like he's going to pick off England with the SMG-11, come around and miss his shot there on a Nesk. Now through the right side doorway, Shuttle looks like he's picking up another kill. Through the right side doorway is going to be Zig, goes for the knife, Skies picks it on up. Wonderful kill there. No, Chapstick actually stole it from him. A 4-on-1 now. Julio going to be the last man alive. He needs to get this. He snags 1. He's got 3 more to go. Now he's behind him. There's going to be that flank from Laxing, I think it is. Skies holding on behind Tellers. Laxing going all the way around, though, from Archives in the square lobby. 3-on-1 diffuser has been planted. 40 seconds left to go. Skies holding behind the opened up wall. Laxing, this is a 3-man crossfire. Unfortunately, this will not go into Julio's favor, especially being a slow 3 armor 1 speed.
What a great execution from Elevate. I have to say, that was really impressive. Well coordinated. They had the flank hold on lock. The only thing they weren't covering really was elevators, and that did end up getting BRK a kill. However, that was quickly refragged, and just overall, the coordination is great. I mean, so they got the Tellers wall open, right? They saw, oh, look, there's a mirror window there. Okay, we can't directly contest into the Tellers. Normally, you'd see people plant right next to that printer. So they're like, all right, if we can't go in there, let's just push in through the right teller's door and assert, well, we have cover over there from the mirror window. We don't have to worry about anything and get that diffuse plant, and it's pretty simple from there. And just the main thing though is, and in a push like that, when it's just a full 5-on-5, the main thing that it always comes back to is just refragging potential for your team. And Elevate has, they have that in spades. And more importantly, because BRK had such a heavy roam presence, now of course that was that early picker off in the beginning of the round, but there were only 3 people on the bomb site. That's 3 people challenging onto 5 attackers. Now the roamer coming in from the side did manage to get a kill again, but he overall wasn't that useful. What is this setup coming out from Elevate?
This is looking something along the lines of Team Font's hold. A little bit different though. I do like the hole above the castle barricade. That's going to be for C4 toss from Mira, because she can actually see through the wall into all of kitchen and all of the hallway to the right side of it.
This setup is amazing and I really like it. I want to see how it works out, but the most important factor for me is going to be what happens when they open up storage drop down. That's going to take out Laxing early into the round. That's opposite to what we're used to seeing. It usually goes the other way. But that's great reading there from BRK, understanding that, hey, Elevate roams downstairs more often than not. I mean, they always roam downstairs. And utilizing that knowledge to get that early kill, that might be what the BRK needs to recover them from match point, series point, which we are on, by the way, as Elevate won that first map.
And so if Elevate is able to secure this defensive round, they will go on to play in the Grand Champions later on this afternoon. But I don't think BRK is ready to give up just yet. We are here on map number 2, like we said, and BRK is trying to get this attack phase in their favor. They started out nicely, taking out Laxing, and Zig's just going to stay inside of the main lobby, droning out elevator hallway, as I believe we've got one playing the Twitch on the top side, looking at the main stairwell.
BRK is circled around this entire defense right now. There are 3 anchors on the bomb site, 1 roamer still in the basement. That's going to be Shuttle. But overall, BRK is just establishing a complete circumference here. They have everything they need to start picking off Elevate play defenders, and this is very dangerous.
Now, what is stopping BRK from just opening up the floor of stock room, trying to get these mirror windows open and progress in from the elevator hallway?
Absolutely nothing, but they're doing it anyway with the Twitch drones, I believe.
So a minute 10 to go, 5-on-4. Here's Uke looking on through the main corridor, the main drop hatch, right above the site. He actually might spot England if he keeps his sight on it, but England will move out and take a little bit of a very tight angle through the hole in the wall, looking up through the drop hatch of the mirror window that's been opened up.
So BRK is choosing to go for cafeteria, which is, I think, the smart move because it looks like what Elevate's trying to hold, but no. Zig with a push in will take out a Chapstick anchoring inside the small office.
One picked up the kill into England and refragged there. Zig getting down by the Shuttle. C4, Nest swinging on in, grabbing Skies down. Last man alive is going to be Shuttle in a 4-on-1. Shuttle's now trying to move into Archives. He's going to the middle admin office, picks up one into Julio, snags another onto Nest. He's got 2 more to go. It could be Uke and 1. Diffuser has not been planted yet, and he's got about 30 health left to go on him. Against 2 full-armored BRK onslaughts here, we've got Twitch and IQ. It's going to be Uke and 1. Can he snag one again? Can he get that one? Can he get the clutch here onto Uke? He knows that the last man alive is going to be Uke. He knows it's IQ. He knows
he doesn't have the diffuser.
He just needs to play time. Can he get it? He's got to move in. This could be the clutch of the century here. Shuttle.
Oh!
He's got 3 seconds to go. He can't find him.
No,
Claymore. It's going to be Elevate winning this round. They're going to the grand finals.
What a clutch there by Shuttle, and a huge misplay by BRK, losing the diffuser early on in that 1v4, and then not picking it up. You saw IQ. IQ thought Uke thought he had the diffuser. He was like, all right, I'm just gonna go plant. No problem, I'll just plant safe. And he didn't. He left it in small office. Oh, no, that's gotta be heartbreak.
I thought he was, at first I thought he was gonna go pick up Uke, or I thought he was gonna pick up 1. Then I was like, well, the diffuser's right there, pick up the diffuser and go for the plant, but no. He just wanted to go for the frag.
Yeah, that was a huge mistake there by Uke, and honestly, a well-played round by Shuttle, and because of that, we will have Elevate push themselves into the finals. It's got to be a great feeling.
Yeah, I mean, it was a significant mistake, but it's also one where he had to make a split-second decision, and unfortunately, he made the wrong